Good morning, everyone. Today we shall discuss the topics laws given by the Mendel, test cross, incomplete dominance, and codominance. Okay, so let's start with the first one, that is laws which were given by the Mendel. Okay, yesterday in my lecture I told you Mendel, he was a scientist and he crossed pea plant. Okay, what he did basically, he took tall pea plant and dwarf pea plant. He was not aware of their genotype. He just took the tall pea plant and the dwarf pea plant and then he bred them. And he observed that all the pea plants produced, they were tall. So he was surprised where this dwarf trait has gone. Now what he did, this is the first future generation, or I can say F1 generation or first filial generation. Okay, filial word is basically used for the offsprings. So basically this is the first generation, that is F1 generation. Now what the Mendel did, he took the F1 generation plants and then he bred them. Like from here he took tall plant and then again tall plant. He was not aware of their genotype. Clear? So now when he bred them, he observed that 3 plants that were produced, they were tall, but one was dwarf. Okay, now he observed that when he bred the 2 tall plants, then 3 were tall, but one was dwarf. Now he was thinking that there must be something that is being inherited, that is being passed from one generation to the another generation, right? And that thing, he named it as factor. But nowadays we know it as gene. So basically gene is the unit of inheritance. Inheritance means a transfer of characters from one generation to the another generation, or I can say transfer of characters from the parents to the offspring. Now, first law that he gave, it was law of dominance. It means that there are 2 alleles of a particular gene in a dihybrid organism. Okay, out of those 2 alleles, one allele will be dominant. It means it will be able to show it will be able to express itself, while the other allele will be recessive, that it will not be able to express itself. Suppose if I talk about this example only. Okay, so he took tall plant. Okay, if I talk about the gene that is related to height, so he used the alphabets for this and he used the alphabet T. T is for tallness. Okay, now as I told you, allele means different forms of a gene. A gene is something that can code for a particular trait. Suppose the gene for the tallness is there, it can code for a particular trait and that trait is height. Now this gene, this T gene exists in different allelic forms. But in a diploid organism, only 2 alleles can be present, right? So if I talk about the tall, it was capital T, capital T. And then for the dwarf pea plant that he took, it was small t, small t. These 2 are alleles. This capital T is an allele, this is again an allele. Okay, this is again an allele and this is again an allele. These are the different alleles of a gene that is coding for the trait height or tallness. Clear? Now, firstly there will be gamete formation. Capital T, again small t, small t. Now when these will interbreed, I am just making a Punnett square. You can also make it like this, that you had done in class 10th. That is capital T, small t, capital T, small t, capital T, small t, and capital T, small t. Here you can see, he observed that all the pea plants produced, they were tall. It means it was tall, it was tall, it was tall, and it was tall. Now he was thinking, why these are tall? No doubt they are having capital T allele, but they are also having small t. It means the small t allele, it is not able to express itself. And why it is not able to express itself? Because it is recessive. From here, he gave First law, that is law of dominance. There is an allele that is dominant, that can express itself, and that allele is dominant. So here capital T is dominant allele, while the small t is not able to express itself if capital T is present. So this small t, which is not able to express itself if the dominant allele is present, then this allele is known as recessive allele. So if I talk about capital T, small t, capital T, it is the dominant one and small t is the recessive allele. This is law of dominance. One allele which will be able to express itself, that will be dominant one, and the one which will not be able to express itself if the dominant allele is there, then that will be recessive one. Okay, now if I talk about the next, what he did, as I told you, he took two plants from the F1 generation. Okay, this is the F1 generation. So he bred them, means capital T small t and capital T small t. Again I am saying he was not aware of the genotype. For him, this is also tall and this is also tall. So now, in the F2 generation, basically now in order to obtain the F2 generation, what the Mendel did, he bred the two plants from the F1 generation. Okay, now when he bred these two plants from the F1 generation, then he got a result, that is, in the F2 generation, 3 plants were tall and the rest one, it was dwarf. So from here, he thought that the dwarf character which was lost in the F1 generation, as you can see, F1 generation organisms are tall, but in the F2 generation, he got a pea plant that is dwarf. So from there he thought that this dwarf character which was lost in the F1 generation is again back. Now why? From here he gave the second law, that is law of segregation. That is, while the formation of gametes, the alleles are segregated. In this case, 2 alleles are there. One is capital T and second is small t. Right? So, during the formation of gametes, these 2 alleles will get segregated in such a way that each gamete will receive one of these 2 alleles. Clear? Similarly here, now if I'll make a Punnett square for this, here capital T small t, and in the similar way capital T small t, it will be capital T capital T, capital T small t, capital T small t, small t, small t. Clear? Now if I talk about the phenotype, that is phenotypic ratio, this is tall, this is again tall, this is again tall. So phenotypic ratio is 3:1. This is dwarf. Phenotypic ratio is when we are considering only the phenotype, that is the morphological appearance. If you see these plants, these 3 will be tall and this one will be dwarf. So we are just considering their morphological character. So the phenotypic ratio came out to be 3:1. But if I talk about the genotypic ratio means the ratio which we'll find with the help of genotype. Now what is genotype? Genotype basically represents the genetic makeup of an organism. In this we'll see the genetic makeup. This is having 2 alleles, capital T, capital T. So here 1. Now capital T small t genotype is there in this plant also. So 1 and 1, 2, and last one is 1. So genetic ratio will tell you about the genotype. Okay. And phenotypic ratio will tell you only about the morphological character. Am I clear? Thank you. So now suppose I am having a tall pea plant. Now, as I told you, this tall pea plant, if I talk about the phenotypic one, that is tall. If I talk about its genotypic value, then it could be capital T, or it could be capital T, small t, right? Now, if we want to find out that whether it is capital T or capital T, small t, then we have to perform test cross. Test cross is a cross which helps us to identify the genotype of an organism. If suppose capital T state is there, then it is homozygous, means both the alleles are same. But if it is capital T small t, then it is known as heterozygous condition, means there are two different alleles that codes for the contrasting character. Okay, so now if I have to find out this tall plant has which type of genotypic value, then I have to perform test cross. In test cross, what we used to do, we used to take the plant that we have to test and we used to breed it with the recessive parent. Okay, which type of parent? Recessive parent. So like I'll take the tall plant and then I'll take the recessive parent. We had done this cross and the parent was capital T and small t. Now out of these two, which one is the recessive? This, right? Now this one is dominant. I told you capital T is dominant. So this one is the dominant parent. This one is the recessive parent. So basically in test cross, we cross the organism whose genotype is to be found out with the recessive parent. So now it will be bred with small t. Now see the results. Okay, if the results came out that all the babies produced, all the plants produced are tall. If all the plants produced are tall, then it means that its genotype will be capital T. Am I clear? Now how? Let me explain. Let me make a Punnett square. This plant is fixed, that is small t. Okay, I am placing it like this. You know, due to law of segregation, the alleles will get separate. Okay, now if this is capital T is there, it will result in the formation of capital T small t like this. So all the plants produced, they are tall. That's what I told you. If you will breed the given tall organism with the recessive parent, and if in the result, if in the generation you saw that all the plants produced, they are tall, it directly means that the genotype of the given organism is homozygous. Homozygous means capital T, dominant homozygous. Okay, now second condition, if all the plants produced, they are not tall, then it means that this tall plant is capital T small t. If in the future generation after the test cross, if you'll find that 50% of the organisms produced are tall and 50% are dwarf, then surely the genotype of the given organism that we have to find is capital T small t. Now again let me do this with the help of a Punnett square like this. Capital T and here capital T small t. Okay, this is on the basis of law of segregation. Gametes are being, while the formation of gametes, the alleles are being segregated. Okay, and each gamete receives one allele. One gamete will receive the capital T allele and the other gamete will receive the small t allele, and similar in this way. Again it will form capital T small t, capital T small t, small t. Capital T small t means it will be tall, dwarf, according to the law of dominance. So here you can see 2 are tall and 2 are dwarf. That's what I told you. If 50% of the plant produced, they are tall, and then the rest 50% are dwarf, it means the genotype of the organism that we have to find out is the capital T small t. Am I clear? So basically test cross is a cross that helps us to find out the genotype of an organism. In this cross, we used to take the organism whose genotype we have to find out. We used to cross it with the recessive parent and then we used to see the results. Results we can see morphologically whether the plant is tall or not. Okay, and by seeing the results we can find out what is the genotype of the organism. Now it is your homework. Basically you have to design a test cross in order to find out the genotype of a plant that is having violet flower. Pea plant is there, okay, and it is having violet flower. Then you have to design the test cross. Clear? Now let us start the another topic, that is incomplete dominance. As the name suggests, dominance is incomplete, right? Let me give you one example for this. This happens in case of snapdragon. And its scientific name is Antyrhinus species. So basically what is happening in snapdragon, if you'll see, there are two types of flowers. Suppose I am breeding red colored flower, a plant having the red colored flower and a plant having the white colored flower, and then just see the result. What color will be having, what color of the flower will be there in the future generation. Clear? So there is red colored flower and then there is white colored flower. Clear? There is one plant having the red colored flower and there is second plant of the snapdragon that is having white colored flower. Now for the red colored flower we'll use capital R, capital R. Okay, and for white it will be small r, small r. Now if I talk about the gamete formation, then as according to the law of segregation, these two alleles, they will get segregated like this. One gamete will be having one allele and second gamete will be having another allele, and similar in this way. Now I am making a cross with the help of a Punnett square. Here I am writing capital R, okay, the gametes from the first parent, and there I am writing small r, that is gametes from the second parent. Now what will be the result? Capital R, small r, capital R, small r in the similar way. Now as according to our expectation, as capital R is there, so we'll think it should be red in color as told by the law of dominance. But now what is happening here? This is pink in color. Now here comes the question, why? Because it is showing incomplete dominance. This capital R is showing incomplete dominance. It is not able to mask or to hide the effect of small r allele completely. Like if I talk about capital T, small t in case of Mendel's experiment which was done on the pea plant. This capital T allele, it was completely dominant. It was able to mask the effect of small t completely. So this was a dominant allele. But here, this R allele, it is not able to hide the effect of small r allele completely. So here it is an example of which type of dominance? Incomplete dominance. So this is pink in color. Clear? Now let us talk about codominance. Now what is happening in codominance? As we are diploid, so we are having two alleles for a particular trait. Now these two alleles, both the alleles are dominant. Like in capital T, small t, one was dominant, right? In capital R, small r, in case of snapdragon, this R, it was incomplete dominant. Okay, it was not proper dominant as it was not able to hide the effect of small r. Now if I talk about codominance, two alleles are there, but both the alleles, they are able to show their character. They are able to express themselves. Like its example is ABO blood grouping in human beings. Okay. Now this ABO blood grouping, it is controlled by I gene. This ABO blood grouping is controlled by I gene. Okay. So basically this I gene is responsible for determining the blood grouping in human beings. Now this I gene exists in 3 allelic forms. Allelic forms, I told you, these are the different forms of a gene. So this I gene exists in 3 allelic forms, that is A, B, I. Out of these 3 allelic forms, A is dominant one, B is also dominant one, but I is recessive one. Basically this I gene, it is responsible for coding the sugars that are present on the plasma membrane of the RBC. This A gene will code for another type of sugar. This B allelic form will code for another type of sugar. But this I gene, it doesn't code for any type of sugar. Okay. So now basically what happened, this A is dominant and this B is dominant. So if both of them are present at the same time in a human being, as you know we are diploid, so we will be having 2 alleles. We can't have the 3 alleles at the same time. Okay, so suppose in a person's body this condition is there, these 2 alleles are present, IA and IB. As I told you, both of them are dominant. A is also dominant, B is also dominant. So now what will happen? The resultant blood group of the human being will be AB. It means this allele is also showing its effect. This allele is also showing its effect. On the surface of the RBC, if you will see on the plasma membrane of the RBC, you will see both type of sugar. The type of sugar which is coded by the A allele and type of the sugar which is coded by the B allele. So basically I can say both of them are showing their effect. So this is an example of co-dominance in which both the alleles are showing their effect. Am I clear? Now if I talk about the blood grouping in human being, as I told you we are diploid. So if I talk about the mother and father, so 2 alleles are present, right? But while the formation of gametes, as according to the law of segregation, 1 allelic form will be transferred. So suppose if I talk about this, so allele from father. Allele from mother. Now offspring will be having blood grouping. Okay, so if I talk about the allele from the father, it is just an hypothetical example which type of cases are possible. Suppose a father gave A allele. A father can give only 1 allele. A mother will give only 1 allele, 1 and 1, 2. As a result, in the diploid offspring, 2 alleles will be present. Clear? Suppose father is having A and mother is also having A. Clear? Now what will be the resultant structure? IA. That is, the baby will be having A blood group, as A is the dominant one and both the alleles are A only. Now suppose the father is giving A allele only, but the mother is giving B allele. Okay, now what will happen? It will be IA, IB. As I told you, both of them are dominant. It means the resultant human being will be having blood group AB. Clear? Now, suppose the father is giving A only, but this time the mother is giving I blood group, I allele. Now what will be the resultant? IA, I. Now as I told you, A is the dominant one. Clear? So basically, and this small I is the recessive one. So it will not show its effect. It will not code for any kind of sugar. So basically the blood group will be A. Clear? So here in this case, in AB, you can see codominance is there, both the alleles are showing their effect. Now if I'll talk about the rest cases, suppose the father is providing the B allele. Now again different cases are possible. The mother can provide A, the mother can provide B, or the mother can provide I. It will depend upon the allele which is present in case of mother. Okay. Now if it is A, it will be again IA, IB. That is, the offspring will be having AB blood grouping. This is again showing codominance. Suppose again the father is providing B blood group, it will be IB, IB. So the baby will be having blood grouping B. And suppose here again B, it will result in the formation of IBI. As small I is the recessive one, so capital B will show its effect, and the resultant offspring will be having which type of blood grouping? B blood group. Clear? Now next, suppose the father is providing small I. Okay. Now again the mother can provide A allele or B allele or I allele. Now what will be the result? IA, small I. So here the offspring will be having which type of blood group? A blood group. IBI. So here the offspring will be having which type of blood group? B blood group. And II, here the offspring will be having O blood group. As both recessive alleles are present, so here will be O blood group. Clear? So now this is an example of multiple allelism also. As you can see in the case of I gene, multiple alleles are there. 3 alleles are there, IA, IB and small I, right? So this is again an example of multiple alleles where a gene exists in more than one form. Clear? Thank you.